Hello people of YouTube and welcome back. So yeah, bit of a change of pace here. Who'd have thought there was a place outside of the game room? But yeah, this is the third time I'm going to be doing this video. Let's hope it's third time lucky. Yeah, there is the reason why I'm out of the game room, the reason why we're doing not the game room tour like probably a lot of people was expecting. Well, a couple of reasons. First reason, I got tagged in ages ago to do this video by lebossu77. He got tagged in himself to talk about 5 games that he's started but he wants to go back and complete for whatever reasons, and that's what this video is for. And yeah, I'm going to change my arms. Already aching from having it up for like half an hour straight. Yeah, and I just wanted to go around and get back to doing it. It's quite fitting, isn't it, really, that the video in question was called about like games that you want to go back and complete, and this is a VR response. I wanted to go back and complete. It's one that I really wish I did at the time, but heck, things got in the way. But yeah, reason to do the second reason is because unfortunately I spilled a pint of beer all over my laptop. We had a bit of a live chat last weekend, and yeah, I was drinking and I accidentally knocked over my beer into my laptop and it just completely flooded it. So yeah, I've taken it apart. It just needs a few parts. So it got a new few, not parts, but like it just needs a new screwdriver so I can actually take the last bit of the motherboard apart so I can clean it. It doesn't look too damaged, but that doesn't mean anything. It just needs that one thing wrong or wet for it to have completely like knackered it, isn't it, really? So yeah, I'm hoping for the best, but quietly optimistic, but I just don't want to say too much, really. So if you see a new game tour video next week, you know I've got it fixed. If not, then I'm pretty much I'm gonna say to myself, I'm gonna stop drinking until I can afford to get a new laptop, because how much money I spend on alcohol every week, month, probably could get a laptop within a few months. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's the thinking towards it, really. So yeah, and as well, it's kind of a stupid mistake kind of solved, isn't it, really? Probably good for me, get rid of this old beer belly. But yeah, anyway, no one's here to talk about my health or stupidity. Let's see what games I'm going to be talking about. So I've got 5 games with me because my brain is absolutely mush and I've completely forgot what I've even talked about seconds ago. So right, let's get the first one out, shall we? Whew, already out of breath. I've been walking around this circle for ages. What a weird thing I'm doing. But yeah, Sin and Punishment. This is a game that I actually picked up and talked about in my Wii collecting video not too long ago. And yeah, it's a bit of a shame that I've not actually gone around and completed it. I got my ass kicked, and it's a really good game. And I think I played it a couple of times when I first got it, and then I just put it to one side. Probably had this quite a few years now, and I've just never given it the second love that I should. And what I need to do as well, I need to play it on the CRT. I know you can play it on the flat screen. It's not like a light gun game where it's needed to be on a CRT, but I don't know, I think playing it on the big screen, it's just too big to probably to play it as well as I can. My living room's not the biggest, but my TV's quite big, so it's not going to be a good combination. So that is such a good action game where it's sort of like an on-rail shooter. You're kind of going around kind of where you can move your body freely, so it's not quite like Time Crisis, however you shoot your gun with the Wii Zapper like you do with Time Crisis. So yeah, a really good game overall. And yeah, I think I can't remember if it was me who mentioned it first, but then I noticed quite a few other people started like talking about it afterwards, and there was actually playing it. And Gib84, he actually went around and completed it, and I think that's kind of like made me want to talk about this in this video, because yeah, it's kind of reminded me again, a secondary reason to get it into my mind and hopefully complete it. Let's see if I can see if we can get these in my 52 game challenge by the end of this year. Let's see. Right, let's see what the next one is. I brought Sin and Punishment out again. Of course I did. Right, so next up Bayonetta 2, so Wii U game this time. Do you know what, actually, when I was going through it all, there's quite a lot of Wii and Wii U games that I've started and not finished. Now, I think that's because my arms get very achy by putting them straight and in the air for a while, just like they are right now. Again, quite fitting. But yeah, Bayonetta 2, such a great game. And the funny thing is, Bayonetta 1, I did very similar thing where I picked it up, got halfway, and then stopped playing it for ages, for years, and then went around, picked it up, and then completed it, and thought, why have I left it for so long? Now, with Bayonetta 2, I think the reason why I did leave it for so long is because of the controller. It wasn't so much the game, although the game was getting a bit hard, and I think because I was using the gamepad rather than an actual controller, it was really frustrating me because it wasn't quite fast enough using the controls that I really wanted to. It's one of my favourite genres, so it's such a shame that I've kind of left it until now. So I'm just going through a big soggy puddle, if you can see back there. Yeah, one of my favourite genres, and I've now got a Wii U gamepad Pro, so I can play it like a normal controller. But I mean, I've had that for a few years now, and I've still not gone round and completed it. So yeah, this is kind of like a list of games that I really need to tell myself, go back and complete. And if I've not talked about any of these games by the end of this year, I mean, you guys can go back and tell me off and say what has happened to X game. So yeah, next up. Oh, right, next up. I don't know, let's have a look in here. Talked about them too. So another DVD style case one, so I know. Oh, it's another Nintendo game. Did I talk about this? I can't remember. Eternal Darkness. Now, I've had this game a few times and they've always been from charity shops. I don't know what it is about charity shops, but back in the day, people maybe like too put off by the game or whatever, I don't know. But it was always left there in a charity shop and ready for me to find. But yeah, so I've had this game for years and I only got around to actually starting it last year or the year before. And yeah, the game itself is completely different than what I was expecting. I think people talk about it as a Resident... Oh God, got a bit of a belly burp there. Sorry about that, guys, I can't edit that out. Yeah, people talk about it as a Resident Evil style clone, and it really isn't. I was expecting it with Resident Evil, but with like bits to make your mind go a bit funny and trying to trick your senses and stuff like that. And yes, I can see what they're talking about, but I also thought it's a complete, like I say, it's not a survival horror game like I was expecting. It's more of an action game set. And I think what the comparison to Resident Evil is you go into a house, a mansion, but then that's where the comparison really changes, because you go into like different rooms or look at like different like artifacts, and then that whisks you into a different world where you're actually playing as different characters. So completely different than Resident Evil. And yeah, it was quite good. I was like playing it for a bit, and with me, I can't do like full marathon playthroughs where like I start a game in the morning, finish it at night time. I have to take so many breaks, and what I was just doing is I was going through each world, taking a break, coming back the next day, and then the next day went into the next week, and then the next week went into, well, I've not played it, come back and played it. So let's hopefully go back and complete it, because I really want to. It's one of them games that people talk about quite a lot. Just double checking that walker's not over there. People talk about quite a lot for like good reasons, and yeah, it's quite a good game. But yeah, hopefully we'll get that knocked off this year. Let's see. Right, 2 other games here. Right, okay, let's talk about this one. Right, so Gradius, well, this is the deluxe pack, but we're just going to talk about Gradius 1. I mean, we can even talk about Gradius 2, and yes, I have kind of completed it. So it's kind of a bit of a, this one's completely different than the other style games, because I have actually completed it. But how I want to go back and complete it is, I want to complete it with 1 credit, 1 credit clear, as the shoot 'em uppers talk about. So I'm very close to this, and maybe I'll try it when I get back home actually. But yeah, we've been doing a bit of a high score challenge. I mean, I talk about this all the time, but yeah, this is the one game that I really need to go back and complete, because I got really far. I was first person to get to the last stage, and then Dylan saw the score and then went back, and within, I think that same day, he completed it. He actually cleared it, and when you complete it, you actually go back to the first stage and you loop it again and everything like that. So yeah, I would just love to do that. That's just so cool to be able to one credit clear that nostalgic game that I always think about when I think about shooters. Gradius is, yeah, I mean, we all think, I think even if you don't know about shooters, you know about Gradius. So especially if you're a retro gamer, love to do that. So yeah, do you know what, out of all of these, that's going to be the first attempt. Like I say, it's more of a test of skill rather than endurance, although there'll be quite a lot of endurance involved with that as well. Right, let's have a walk around this way, shall we? So the last game, right, okay. God, I'm so unfit. Chrono Cross, yes, I actually started playing this last year, and Chrono Trigger is one of my favourite RPGs. I got introduced to it on the PlayStation. I've talked about this before, where I got it as a CDR back at the comic book shop back in the day, and I always thought it was a PlayStation game because we never got it on SNES over here, although I obviously must have seen it in the magazines at some point, because I think Superplay used to talk about it quite a bit. But yeah, that game has always stuck with me. I've gone back and completed it, say recently, in the last 6-7 years or something on the DS. And yeah, I finally found a good copy of the PlayStation version of Chrono Cross, which it's a sequel, but it's not a sequel. It's just set in the worlds like 5 years later. And yeah, it's a cool RPG. Although what stopped me from playing it originally is the fact that it kind of got really complicated really fast, and I carried on playing it for quite a bit. I think I've got about halfway, because I did go through a lot of like guides and everything like that just to help me, because with the game it's exactly the same, similar kind of premise as Chrono Trigger, where you go back in time to do different missions or whatever, and this one is the same, except they use the time traveling thing a bit too much, and yeah, there's quite a lot of things that you have to do in different time periods and do different things, and it just really blew my mind. And you have, like, I think you pick up different characters to help you along the way, and I think because of that, and the gameplay mechanic was so, I think they tried pushing the gameplay mechanics a bit too much, where you've really got to know what you're doing. God, I'm going out of breath. I'm going to stop. Yeah, you've really got to remember what you're doing, or the reason, or like the colours to kind of battle the different demons and everything like that. And yeah, my brain's a bit shit, so I kind of got a bit over my head, and I'm kind of a bit worried that I'm going to go back and completely forgot how to play it, because it's not a straightforward turn-based game. Turn-based RPG like a lot of them are. Like with Chrono Trigger, I could probably go back and play that, even though there's quite a lot of time travel involved with it. It's still a bit more linear than what Chrono Cross was, but I'm determined. I'm going to go back, I'm going to try it. I've got a feeling out of all of these on this list, this will be the one I probably don't complete, but it'd be nice to have that one knocked off. In fact, I was going through my list, like I say, there's quite a lot of Nintendo properties on there that I really want to go back, but there was even more RPGs, which is a bit of a shame really. I could have, this list could have fully been RPGs, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit. So, right, where am I? I'm at the end. So, with this video, I am going to tag a couple of people on here. I'm going to tag Nath Retro 1. I'd love to see what you've been playing, but ultimately I just want to see you doing a video really. It's been a long time, and yeah, I'd like to see your list. I think it'd be quite unique and interesting, especially because he started getting into a few more Japanese style games. And I've forgotten who else I wanted to say. Dave Retro Games Play Badly. I know he likes his RPGs as well, and again, I'd like to see more videos from him. I also would like to see Big Game Al on here, but he probably won't do it. But with that said, I'd like it as an open invitation. It's not just them two people I'd like to see. I'd like to see other people talk about the games that they actually want to go and complete. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking now because, like I say, it's been a while since I've had a walk like this, so I'm a bit out of breath. So thanks for watching, and I'm hoping that this has stayed the right way around. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.